times what they do, people don't really realize. They came up here 2 days ago to help get ready for this event, and Rob worked well into the night, so thanks, Rob and Michelle, for all they're doing. And also want to thank all of our speakers who came in. You know, we did a presentation last night. I was sitting around the room and I was listening to Tim Ollinger, who drove in from Buffalo, and people driving in from Delaware and Pennsylvania. So from the bottom of my heart, we appreciate you guys coming up here. I am excited. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited because we've got some incredible things going on in New England. And I want to just kind of share my excitement, my enthusiasm. And, you know, last week, 2 weeks ago, I was up in Buffalo, and I did a great training with Chris Atkinson and Debbie and Tim and Missy and Team 526. And Chris Atkinson said, what do you want to speak on? I said, well, what do you want me to speak on? I'll speak on whatever you want me to speak on. And he said, how about why you still work Ambit? He said, you know, you've been in this business now for over 8 years. You've made over $8 million. I know you're making 6 figures a month, whether you get out of bed or not. Why are you working so hard? And I thought that was a great topic. And I wanted to bring it here because sometimes I get that question, why do you still work this? And, you know, guys, when I take time off, it's nice to relax a little bit. It's nice to kick back a little bit, but I absolutely love what I do. If you listen to that video that we played you this morning, it's got some special meaning to me because I think about all the people that told me this would work. And I remember when Norbert and I got started back in 2007, driving around doing meetings, and we would go do a presentation, and we'd always have obstacles. There's always going to be obstacles in this business. And see, our obstacle back in 2007 was, it was a $30 million company with no free energy, and we had a guaranteed savings of 1%. But we were only in Texas and New York City. The biggest challenge we had is we would go do meetings and people would be ready to sign up and they say, oh, you're not in New Jersey. No. When's New Jersey opening up? I don't know. What about Connecticut or Massachusetts or Pennsylvania or the Hudson Valley? Nope, we're in none of those. Where are you at? We're in New York City and Texas. And the comments that we would get from people about, you don't have much of a future in this business. How are you going to build it when you're only in 2 markets? And I go back to Chris and Jerry saying, just focus on what you can control. And guys, in this business, you need to focus on the positive because there's a lot of negative out there. And if you focus on the positive, before you know it, you'll have a runaway freight train or snowball. And that's what happens in this business. And now I look back and I think about those days when we got started. Because we're here in New Hampshire doing a training. On Wednesday night, we were down in Portland, Maine doing a presentation. The night before, we were in Massachusetts. And I go back 8 years, and it was Texas and New York City. You know, we've got an incredible day today with Deb Cheslow being here and some of the leaders. And the amazing thing is we kept adding more and more leaders to this event. All of a sudden, I get a call from Mike Obey, who's driving up, national consultant from Staten Island. Ron and Kim Clark, who drove up from Delaware, the Featherbase from Pennsylvania, just, I can go on and on. And then I see Joe and Segal in the room. Welcome, guys. I don't know where they are, but I see they're here too. I know they just got back from Israel. So, you know, 5-star trip winners, incredible people. We've got a great group of people here. If you're a brand new consultant, this is like learning how to play baseball and the next day you're in the World Series. Go Mets, by the way. I am a Mets fan. It's exciting. But what I want to talk to you about is kind of your why. And I know Deb's going to touch on this a little bit too, and I want to talk about that. When we get started in Ambit, we always talk about your why. And you know, me and Tim Devine have had this conversation. It's amazing the people that have strong whys, you watch them and they succeed. And the people that try this thing, they try it and they fail. And people always ask me, when somebody gets this business, they always say, what's the catch? One of the catches? The catch is to get somebody committed to something that costs so little. We've got thousands and thousands and thousands of consultants signing up right now because it's $25. What's amazing to me, the difference between how many people sign up for $25 and how many people sign up for $4.55. You do realize that the difference between somebody becoming financially free or not can be $425 difference. Because in the big picture, $425 and $25, there's not a whole lot difference. The people who see this will come in. You know, to me, sometimes I wish I had a lot more money. But as a new consultant, you need to know why you're doing this business. Your why, your passion, your burning desire. Because if you don't have something like that, you will fail. This is not easy. This is not fun. I remember driving 2 or 3 hours for a presentation and nobody showing up. I have 0 family members in my Ambit business. My dad told me these things would never work. And it was great having him up at the house last week in Jackson and just watching him and listening to him. And so you're going to deal with that. So guys, if you're a new consultant, you need to get passionate about something. You need to find out what is your driving force. You know, Jay and Sharon just did a great job. They just showed their 6 kids. And then you have Jay and Teresa talking about their dollar, putting it through college. They're going to make it in this business. Why? Because their why is a lot stronger than any of the obstacles they're going to see. And let's be honest, it's a business. Anybody ever been in a business that doesn't work all the time? You know, as I was driving here today, I drove by about 5 or 6 bed and breakfasts. And I was looking at it, and some of them were packed, and some of them were empty. And I started thinking about, what would it be like to have that kind of business? You never know who's staying with you. I'm sure you get weirdos that stay with you and do weird stuff in there. But right? But what about the people that tell you they're coming and then they don't show up? Do you just shut it down because of that? No, you got to keep going. But in Ambit, as soon as somebody comes in and it's not perfect, they walk away. Because it's easy to walk away to a $25 business. It's not easy to walk away from a bed and breakfast that you put a lot into. And guys, you need to find a why, a burning desire, a passion. You need to know why you're doing this business. And then you need to get in touch with it. See, this has been a long time coming for me, because when I started network marketing almost 19 years ago, I knew what my why was. Back in 1986, I went out to Colorado to go visit my brother at Lowry Air Force Base. It was Thanksgiving weekend, and we rented a car, and I said to my mom, do you mind if I take the car for a drive? And she said, no, just come back later for dinner. And I never forget, I was in Denver, and I got on the road, and I drove up I-70. And I started going up through the foothills, and next thing you know, I go through Eisenhower Tunnel, and I come through this tunnel, and I see Breckenridge and Dillon in Colorado. I'm like, man, this is spectacular. This is what I want to live. This is where I want to be. This is what amazes. This is what gets me going. This is what excites me. When people tell me no, I don't care, because I'm going to live in some place like that. I'm going to be able to have my family up there for the holidays and my friends, and I'm going to wake up every morning and look at the snow and the mountains. It's going to be amazing. And I started to get in touch with my why. I got back to New York, and I took a picture of the view from Eisenhower Tunnel looking down into Dillon and Breckenridge, and I put it up there. And I would go in on my computer every morning, and before I started reading emails, some of them negative, I would look at the town of Breckenridge. And the first website I would go every morning is I'd go to one of those cameras, and I would look at the weather, whether it was cloudy or sunny or snowy or raining. And I would imagine what it's going to be like in the future to live there and have a bunch of my friends and family there and watch my mom's face when she gets up there and sees what we're doing for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And this is my 3rd company. First one didn't quite work. I got in too late. Second one never grew. But when I got into this one, I knew this was going to be the big one. This is my why. And the funny thing is, I got my why now. It's not in Colorado, but boy, I'll take New Hampshire. I love Colorado, but the best thing is everybody can't fly out there. We can ask you to drive 6 or 7 hours, and obviously you'll do it. And guys, it's amazing to wake up and look at my back and look at Mount Washington, the highest peak in the Northeast, 6,288 feet. Snow-covered, rainbows, you name it. But what excites me more is to have friends and family up here. I enjoy standing up here and watch people and say, keep coming up. Keep coming up. We're down the bottom. Keep coming up. Keep coming up. And watch their face when they walk out here and they look. Because as soon as I walked up there, the first thing I said was, oh crap, I'm buying this house. You need to know what your why is. And you know what the best part is? I look at this and people say, what do you think? The best part is all the people that told me no. Friends, family, and I think they're still sitting in traffic. They're still doing what they're doing. Nothing's changed. And when they find out the success I'm having, you know what they say now? You were just lucky. Couldn't happen for me. Really? I'm too late. Really? Ask Tim and Sonia if it's too late. Got it 8 months ago. Just got back from a 5-star trip in Cancun with the co-founders. Ask Ed and Tammy if it's too late. But you're going to deal with those kind of people. What gets you through it is knowing why you're doing this business. That was my why. What is my other why? This. Guys, listen, back in 2001, I was in Excel Communications. I had a very successful business. And all of a sudden, 9/11 happened. The week of 9/11 was the week after we got back from our big convention. Can you imagine coming back from Ambition and all of a sudden 3,000 people die and what happened? Couldn't do meetings for months. I lost 50% of my customer base because Verizon was nice enough to take all those Excel customers who couldn't make long distance phone calls and turn them back on to Verizon. A lot of my customers for my ticket business were in the World Trade Center. And there was times back in 2001, everybody says, oh, you've always had money. No, I remember back in 2001 looking for change to put gas in the car. Things got real tough. And to be honest with you, I was talking to my mom the other day. She's like, what's the best part about your success? I said, the best part about the success was the failure. Going back and struggling and knowing that I didn't care what people said, that somehow, some way, things were going to change. And guys, I appreciate the times when I didn't have money or things were, because I know where I'm going. You've got to go figure out why you're doing this business. That's what's going to make it an ambit. Now, that's one of my goals. And here's what I know. Life changes. Business changes. I always tell my leaders, don't live beyond your means. Save some for a rainy day. But these were my goals. And everybody in this room, I'm going to assume, has personal goals. That's why we all start Ambit. Listen, we're all business people. We get involved in this thing. We see something. We want to make money. What are we going to do with our money? Those are our whys. But the best thing is, as your business starts growing and you start building relationships and meeting people, your why changes. My why is totally changed now. There's nothing else that I want financially. I'm good. I appreciate what, don't tell Chris and Jerry that. I appreciate what they send me, but it's not about money anymore to me. And once you get to what you're doing in this business, you'll realize you feel good about it, you're proud of your accomplishments, but that's not why I do business. That's not why I do Ambit. Here's why I do Ambit now. 8 years ago, two guys who started a company down in Dallas, a $30 million company in 2 markets, told me if I put my head down and went to work, I'd make millions of dollars and be able to help a lot of other people. When I got involved in Ambit Energy back on October 7th of 2007, the next day, my sponsor, Brian McClure, had me write my goals. My goal was to make $30,000 a month in Ambit Energy. And I remember when I told Brian that, he said to me, you have no clue what you're a part of, do you? I said, Brian, the most I've ever made is $20,000, $30,000, $360,000. That would be amazing. He's like, Ray, you just don't get it. Guys, I've been in this thing now for, let's see, 96 months, and I've made about $8.2 million. You can do the math. It's a whole lot bigger than I've ever thought it would be. So with that said, I feel like I owe Chris and Jerry to continue to work. I didn't get into this thing to just take care of myself and then move on and go do nothing. As a leader, as a national consultant, I feel responsibility to go back there and help the people that help me achieve my goals and get them to their goals. That's why I'm working as hard as I've ever worked before, because I see the incredible people in this organization. People say, why do you keep going out 3, 4, 5, 6 nights a week? That's why I do. That's my why. House is great. Love seeing people come up there. Love looking at the mountains. But that's my why. These guys, and there's a whole lot more that should be up here, but we couldn't put them all up there. I get excited looking at their 5-star standings or watching their pictures coming back from a 5-star trip. Same thing here. And I owe these guys. The gratitude that I have towards these 2 guys, can't put words into it. What else would I be doing? 48 years old, no college degree, no skills. Eating chicken wings and watching football ain't gonna pay me a whole lot, okay? And they paid me over $8 million, and I got a residual income that comes in month after month after month. This is why I do Ambit now. Go pour your heart into the people that are on your team. It's exciting, it's fun, it's amazing to watch what's happening to people. And that's the gratitude. So your why is going to change, but that's why I am doing this business. And guys, when somebody makes a comment about these 2 guys, they don't know them. Tim and Sonia were just on the 5-star trip, and Tim sent me a text, said the best part about being down here in Cancun is spending time with these 2 guys. And when you get to know how real they are, and that they've got to make tough decisions, and this isn't easy for them, they're incredible people. I mean, I thank God every day to be part of this company. I appreciate this so much because I don't know what else I'd be doing. And when you understand where we're sitting right now and the opportunity, it's an amazing time to be in Ambit Energy. So this is my why. You need to figure out what your why is. And then the third thing is timing. People ask all the time, why are you still going 5-6 days a week? I was in Massachusetts, I'm in Maine, I'm in New Hampshire. It'd be easy just to sit at the lake house or sit up here and just relax with the dog. It's amazing because my dog knows what this purple jacket means. It comes out on the hanger and he starts frowning because he knows I'm leaving. I was like, listen, I gotta keep feeding you, I gotta go work. Here's the third reason, and this is a big one, and I can't emphasize enough how big this is. See, my biggest challenge right now with a new person is $25 to get them committed. My biggest challenge right now is the people in this room that I care about, that I want to see have success. You've got to work this hard. You got to quit making excuses and quit doing the things that aren't going to get you ahead in life and get focused. People ask me, what's the key to your success? The first 2, 3, 4 years I was in Ambit, I don't care what day it was, I was on the road doing presentations with Norbert. I lived in Saratoga for a while. I lived in Rochester for a while. I spent a lot of time with Deb Burke up in Utica. I'm up here in Maine. I drove up to Maine in the last 9 months 30 times with John Haas through snowstorms. I know it's not fun. It's not easy. But it's worth it. It's worth it. And the reason I'm telling you is I understand timing. The first 11 years in network marketing, I had bad timing. And nobody told me it's bad timing. I should have known in Excel 60 days in when my entire upline left to go start their own company. That should have been a hint. But I was naive and ignorant. Figured, I don't need them. I'll do without them. I kept building my business. And then a couple years later, the company was bought and sold. And then a couple years later, it was just always problem after problem after problem. You know what? Thank God I went through that. Because it taught me how to build a business with no upline. That was a valuable lesson. It also taught me not to take it for granted when the big one came along. And I'll be honest with you, after Excel went out and I left Excel, I was pretty bitter. Because I always consider myself a very blessed and lucky person. My friends used to tell me, you step in crap all the time. No matter what you do, it turns out right. So when I got involved in Excel for 6.5 years and it didn't work out, what happened? God, what happened? What? There was a big plan. The bigger plan was I was going to meet some incredible people in that company, like Brian McClure and John Haas, and it was going to allow me to screw up at a time where it didn't cost me a whole lot of money. And then I went to my second company. It never grew. But I got to spend a lot of time with a guy who made $40 million in 7 years and watch how he carried himself and what he did. And one of the things I remember is he was incredible with names. And I started realizing, I met this guy one time, and 9 months later I walked by him and he said, hey, Ray, how's it going? And I remember the impression that it made on me that this guy remembered my name and I only met him one time. And I got to learn from a guy who was a master who's since passed on. And then Ambit comes. And I'll be honest with you, like most people, 2 strikes, 3 and I'm out. After 11 years in network marketing with nothing to show for it, because Excel, although I built the residual income, they went bankrupt. No more residual income. Second company I was with, I had a no-compete clause, so when I came to Ambit, I lost that income. So I'm looking at Ambit and thinking, shh, well, what am I going to do? It was the best thing that ever happened to me was I had no choice but to make this work. Sometimes when your back's to the wall, when you're in the water swimming and there's a shark behind you, it's amazing how fast you can swim. And thank God to Norbert Hennessy in those early days, because I had to make this work. I had to make Ambit work. Norbert, whatever we need to do, I will be up at Scarsdale every day right after rush hour. I will stay until you don't need me anymore. Guys, that's the urgency you got to have. There's a reason Sally's a brand new SC. Because I've never seen Norbert as excited as he is right now. He's got that passion. He's got that fire back. He's taken somebody who has a strong desire, and they're going and showing the plan. They're not waiting for the meeting one night a week on Tuesday. They're out there going one-on-ones and in-homes and Nathans and whatever they got to do. If you want to be big time in Ambit Energy, that's what you need to do. You can sit back and invite people every week and you'll get to where you want to be eventually. But your leaders, you drove in here on a Saturday afternoon in October where you could be someplace else. You want to know the magic? You got to have a strong why. You got to be passionate. You got to be excited. You got to be bulletproof because you're going to have people telling you all the time why it won't work. Somebody told me in the back, some lady just told me that somebody just told her it didn't work. I said, does she pay you bills? Nope. Is she financially free? Nope. So then why would you take advice from somebody like that? Guys, the biggest reason is this. The reason I'm so excited and so passionate and I'm out there working so hard is because I understand this. The reason I understand timing is bad timing. When you go through 11 years of bad timing and then 8 years in Advent, and most of it's been good, and you realize that the timing is perfect right now because of all the stars aligning, your goal is to go out there and make sure that people understand what's going on. And the best way that I can show to you guys timing is by working extremely hard, although they pay me a lot of money. And if I can do it, what's your excuse? I get it. Kids, jobs, relatives, health. I get it all. I got it all. The difference is I don't go out there and tell people about it. I've had some health issues. My mom's got health issues. My dad's got health issues. Gone through some personal things. But I stay focused on the task at hand. Why? Because I understand there's something big going on. I understand that 10, 15, 20 years ago, I was being prepared for something really special, but I didn't understand it. Now I understand it. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe you're all here for a reason. Some of you are going to leave and it's not going to make a difference, but some of you are going to go out there and do incredible things and change a lot of lives. And here's why. New market opening up 10 days from now. Not even a week. Where's Matt at? Is Matt here? Matt, stand up. This is Pat Flanders' cousin. He drove in 15 hours last night from Ohio. But yet there's people 30 minutes away who made an excuse. You know, people ask me all the time, how do you know who to work with? Just watch. Just watch. 15 hours. Matt, what do you need? Matt, here's my cell phone number, whatever I can do. You need to crash at my house? Great. Whatever you need. And then there's other people, well, I don't know, Saturday's not good for me. Okay, great. I don't judge people. I just work with the ones who want it like I do. You know, I learned from a guy who made millions of dollars. If you want to be successful, find people who want it worse than you do. Tim Devine, every single night, I need to debrief. I need to debrief. And there's times I'm exhausted. Tim, if you could see the positions I'm in sometimes on the floor, I'm like, him and Sonia every night because they want it as bad as I do. Because I know what one conversation can do to somebody in this room in Ohio. Ask Ed and Tammy Thompson what happened to their business 9 months ago from one call to a gentleman on Facebook, $45,000 in bonuses. Now he's an executive consultant, just got back from his first 5-star trips, getting ready to go on his second. His residual income in the last 9 months has gone from $88 on January 15th to $1,055 on October 15th. Multiply that growth out over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. That's $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 a month in residual income, not to mention bonuses, from one conversation. Why are we not talking to everybody? You know, the best thing about buying a new house is there's a lot of new people that come up there. New landscaper, somebody come fix the stove, somebody, I just talk to everybody. I just bought a grill down at Walmart. I give the guy a magazine. What's he going to say? No. The worst he says is no. Do you know if I could go find Tim and Sonia Devine right now and personally sponsored somebody like them, where my life would be? And what I could do for my friends and my family? Guys, we got a new market coming. We've got this. Then we talk about generational wealth. How about getting paid? Think about this. Where were you at in 1995? October 24th, 1995. What was your life like? You know where I was? I'd never do one of those friggin' pyramids. Never heard of Excel. I own my own business. I would never get involved in one of these things. And 20 years later, here's where I'm at. Where are you going to be in 2035? Where are your kids going to be and your grandkids? You do realize that with solar energy, we've got a residual income for the next 20 years. So when we talk about generational wealth, that's generational wealth. We're in 4 states. If we execute, they're licensed in 15. New Hampshire is one of the ones they're licensed in. And then you start thinking about their license in states like Arizona and Nevada and Colorado. And all of a sudden, people out there start signing up because they can gather customers, which leads to people coming back here. Guys, this isn't hype. This is reality. This is why I work so hard. This is why I'm getting ready to work harder and harder and harder. This is why Reggie's up at my house yesterday and Rob and Michelle shooting videos. Because we're just getting started with this thing. Then we've got this coming up here in 3 weeks. 2,000 people are going to be here. The first time ever that the power trip is in the Northeast. It's always been at Dallas. There's flyers on every seat. Why would you not be here? You've got our co-founders and the top 10 income earners going to talk about what they did to build this business. So in 3 weeks, we got another huge event. And then we got the granddaddy of them all on January 30th.
Everybody I talk to is registered. Are you registered? Listen, there's people that call me up for 3 ways. You know what I do? I go see if they're registered for the simulcast. Because if you're in more than 6 months and you're not registered, the fact that you can watch it online, you're just not serious. And I'm not the person for you to work with, because I don't have time to waste. This is too big right now, because here's what I know. When our co-founder comes out and makes this statement and sends out a video and says we'll make even bigger announcements at Simulcast 2016 than we did at Ambition 2, what does that tell you? See, this is about creating urgency. Let me tell you a quick story and bring up our next speaker. Back in January this year, about 10 days before Simulcast 2015, Chris Chambliss called me up and we had a conversation. He said to me, "What do you think about it if we waived 429? And I said, I don't understand. What do you mean? Because they've never changed the price since I've been here. He said, what if we did away with 429? What do you think would happen? This would be crazy. This would be ridiculous. And I said, really? He's like, yeah, that's what we're going to do. And I said, can I tell anybody that? He said, what do you think? I said, I can't. Can I tell people it's going to be the biggest announcement that we've ever had in the history of Amity? He said, you can tell them that. Got off the phone. Michelle sent out an email to a bunch of our leaders in our 300 group. We put together an emergency conference call. I said, guys, here's what I can tell you. I can't tell you what it is, but in 10 days at Simulcast 2015, we're going to have the biggest announcements in the history of Amity. I am telling you as a friend, as a business partner, you need to get on the phone and start calling everybody in your downline, even if they're not active, and get them registered. In 10 days, we went from 2,000 registrants to over 4,000 people registered. Want to know why? Because people were excited. Because they had a passion and enthusiasm. And a lot of those people that registered, they didn't do anything. But guys, I've had my biggest year this year ever. And February was my biggest month ever in Amity by far. And the reason it was because of excitement and enthusiasm. We had 10 days to prepare. You know this is coming. You know on January 30th that Chris is going to announce it looks like 2 new states is what I'm hearing. You know there's going to be expansion in solar at some point in the future. You know that we've got large commercial energy coming to New England sometime next year. You know all these things are coming. Are you prepared? Because I'm not. I've got to work harder. I've got to build a bigger team. I've got to make sure people on my team are getting in a position to take advantage of this. See, when you get a whole lot of people at these things and they get excited, they start making phone calls. Ed Thompson went to Simulcast 2015. And a week later, Tim and Sonia Devine joined his team. Was that worth calling Ed and giving him a hard time to get people there? The timing is perfect. You guys hear me? If you don't take advantage of this for the next year, what you need to do is you need to go write your great-grandkids an apology letter. Because you know what's coming. We're not making this up. Chris is a very conservative guy. For him to make a statement like that, you need to position yourself. We've got some incredible people coming up. One of the things we want to take advantage of is this. Here's the goal. And the last reason I stick around in Ambit Energy is because I want to see this. And I love when people tell me we can't. Guys, I want to thank you for coming down here today. Really, from the bottom of my heart, we appreciate you coming all the way to New Hampshire. We've got some incredible speakers. I want to bring up my good friend, Mr. Rob Butter. Thank you, Rob.